Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Tyler from Podcast Now. Today, obviously, the Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind trailer has dropped. Lots of pretty cool stuff. New playable characters. Oathkeeper, I assume the paid DLC will have Oblivion. So ReMind is the free one. And the paid will likely come sometime next year. Hopefully not too late next year, but likely maybe even this time next year. And that's going to expand, and that's the Sora and Riku secret ending stuff. But anyways, from this we learned that Luxord is not just some nobody, literally. He is definitely a somebody. And we know that he gave Sora the card in Kingdom Hearts 3, and everyone, was like, maybe it ties into Kingdom Hearts 4 and this and that. I don't know, right? Because I was saying, well, it was never brought back up. It was just kind of weird. Well, no, it was planted. There's a reason. We might just learn about what that card was in this ReMind, or maybe they'll connect ReMind to whatever the paid DLC is called. So from the title, you'll know that I think that Luxord may just be the Master of Masters, and I really do. It kind of makes sense now, seeing this little interaction. But there's also a case where if the Master of Masters is evil, which I'm 50-50, I almost lean 40-60 to where I think the Master of Masters might be like the ultimate evil. And in that case, Luxord's not the Master of Masters, but he's the mirror image, like the polar opposite of the Master of Masters. So Luxord would be essentially a light Master of Masters, and the Master of Masters is, a dark, like an evil Master of Masters, if that makes sense. Obviously, we don't know the Master of Masters' true name, so that may make it easier for me to explain it to you. But basically, if Luxord is a Master of Masters for the light, that is what I'm thinking now. Because there's always sides. There's always light and darkness, and this is Kingdom Hearts, so there's always light and darkness. And I now believe this to be true. I now believe that Luxord is a Master of Masters for the side of light. The Master of Masters that we already know is on the side of dark. That's what I truly believe. Because you look at the things that Luxu has done, and you read, the answer reports or the secret reports, and in Kingdom Hearts 3, and you realize how he literally allowed, his mission was to wait and to keep changing bodies until Master Xehanort came to be, let Master Xehanort do all this evil stuff just so you can be struck down, come back because you're actually okay, and you regain the Master of Masters Keyblade, and now you're going to bring the Foretellers into the present, and now you're going to do your real job. So, but in the meantime, you let all these worlds fall to darkness, all these terrible things that happen, and when worlds fall to darkness, that means the people die. You turn to Heartless. So, Luciu's not a good guy, right? And if Luciu's not a good guy, what does that say about his master? You're not going to have a master who's very light, right? Imagine it being Sora, because people sometimes think Sora's the Master of Masters. So picture this. So Sora's the Master of Masters, right? And Sora has an apprentice, a very close one. And then they're as evil as Luciu, or even as evil as young Xehanort. That doesn't really make sense. Usually, whoever your apprentice is, is going to be pretty much similar to how you are, just like Master Ericus and Aqua, right? So that's why I'm like, okay, well, now that I'm seeing this, like in this trailer, now that we're seeing this, and then you think too, just from a kind of a dumb thing, but sometimes these aesthetics matter. What does Xigbar or Luciu have? Dark hair. He's very sunken in a way. He kind of looks evil. He's got the eye patch. He's got the scar. He looks like a bad guy. And now you look at Luxord, or whatever his true name is, and he's blonde. He's not as sunken in. He's kind of more filled in. He's kind of more muscular. He kind of speaks poetically sometimes. And now it kind of is like, oh wow, look, light and dark. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. And the other thing to really kind of solidify that Luxord is a Master of Masters. Now, don't be mad at me for saying that he is the Master of Masters in the title, because I do believe there's going to be two Master of Masters. It only makes sense. No different than Master Ericus and Master Xehanort, and then their whole little scuffle brought about all these things. I think that's going to happen again, but on a much grander scale, involving multiple dimensions and universes. So we learn in the conversation that Luxord knows way more than we thought. And for him to say, Xigbar, who are you? He knows that it's not. He knows Xigbar is not actually Xigbar, that he's somebody else. And when Xigbar obviously doesn't say, Luxord just says, it doesn't make a difference to me anyway. And then turns around and starts to walk away. And he says, I'll just keep playing dumb. So by saying, who are you? I'll just keep playing dumb. It doesn't really matter. That means to me that Luxord knows exactly what's going to happen to him. He knows that he's going to fall to Sora, and obviously wants to give him that card, but had to play the part, which is interesting because that means that Luxord knows that Xigbar may possibly be Lushu, and that he's only serving a higher plan. That all of this has to take place and everything's going to go the way it's supposed to go. So Luxord knows that he must face Sora and he must lose. So that way, that's a darkness that falls so that Master Xehanort can get that 13 darkness to use Kingdom Hearts, turn it to a dark Kingdom Hearts, but eventually fail. Luxord realizes all of that. How would he know all those things if he's not somebody who's either from the past, has some kind of foresight, who's possibly very powerful, just like Lushu knew what was going to happen, right? So I'm thinking that Luxord also knows what's going to happen, and it's the whole reason that he is even in the organization, just like the only reason that Xigbar is in the organization. Just one's a spy for the dark, and one's a spy for the light. That's how I'm seeing this. And now seeing this, and then having Xigbar or Lushu say, well, the question is, who are you, Luxord? But Luxord said later because he knows it's not Luxord. He just knows that that's the only thing that he can call him right now. So just to wrap this up, I do really truly believe that Luxord is a Master of Masters, but I believe he's a Master of Masters for the side of light. Now, it's a possibility that he's the equivalent of Lushu, but I actually don't think so. For Luxord to give Sora that card, he knows what's going to be happening next. And he knows that Sora's going to need a little bit of help. And maybe, just maybe, that's a way for him to return Luxord. Or for, who he really is. So it's very, very interesting. So let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below. Like this video if you like the video. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber to podcast. Now we give away almost 30 or more sometimes video games a year for free. We have a lot of fun on this channel too. A lot of community series. Obviously, when this stuff comes out in the winter, we're going to be having coverage on that. When the paid DLC comes out, we're going to have a lot of Kingdom Hearts coverage on that. Like I said, community series, Star Wars Episode 9 community series later this year. So lots of stuff going on in this channel. So definitely stay tuned if you're into all those kind of things, and I will see you guys next time.